Welcome, travelers, to today's episode of Doomsday Pantry. Today we're going to be going with a Southwest-themed baked dish. Our spices are going to be Johnny's seasoning salt, ground cayenne pepper, hot Mexican chili powder, onion powder, granulated garlic, and paprika, and then salt and pepper to taste. If you want to know what's in the seasoning salt and the chili powder, I can answer that in the comments below. Our ingredients are refried beans, pinto beans, corn, diced tomatoes and green chilies, pre-sliced black olives because I do not like slicing them myself, it takes forever, and an onion. You're going to want pan spray, a big mixing bowl for all of the main ingredients, a small mixing bowl for the, oh, I forgot the rice. Yep, rice too. A small mixing bowl for the corn, because we're going to turn it into Mexican style corn. Then you're going to want a pot to cook your rice in. Now, as you can see here, normally Southwest dishes are made with brown rice, but I did not have 2 full cups of brown rice, so I'm substituting with a little bit of white rice. Looks like I actually have more than 2 cups there, so we'll come back when I have that properly measured out, and we're going to start that in the pot boiling. Hopefully you guys remember how to do rice. If not, I can give you a refresher in the comments below. Okay, so our rice is starting to boil. Well, our water is on the stove to start boiling. You're also going to want to turn your oven to 350 to preheat because we're going to be baking this dish. The next step is going to be taking that onion and dicing it up. So I will show you roughly what size you want. It's going to be a garnish, but that's really the only heavy prep item here other than mixing the corn. So I'm going to do that first, that way it's out of the way and I don't have to worry about timing when we get to that stage. So next up I'll show you the size of the onion. I realized that some of you may have never cut an onion before, so when you're cutting an onion, what you want to do is you want to cut the bottom off where the root is, and then I cut the top off. Then you place it flat, slice it right down the middle. As you can see, I kind of cut through the center cores. Hopefully you can see that. Kind of cut through the core there. And then you're going to take the outer layer and peel it off. Obviously, wash your hands before handling any food that is ready to eat. What you're going to do is cut opposite of the grain. My knife form is bad right now. I'm at home and not paying attention to what I'm doing. And then you're going to cut with the grain. Do the same thing with the other one, except this time we'll use proper knife form. So what you want to do with proper knife form is you want to have your hands like a cat's paw. You notice I am lifting my finger over the top of the blade to push the onion back down. Onions are sticky, so they'll stick to the blade a little bit while you're doing this. And just continue to follow the pattern. There we go, onions diced. Most intensive prep part, done. Now I am going to use half of this onion in the mix itself, and then half of it to garnish. We are also going to want cheese, although that is optional, to top it off, same as the last casserole. So that is optional, you don't have to top it with cheese, but you want something kind of moist on the top. So I mean, you could use an additional can of refried beans to top it off. Sorry, my eyes are watering now because of the onions. When you're cutting onions, if you're cutting a lot of them, and your eyes are watering, it has to do with the acidity that's leaking into the air, or at least that's my understanding of it. One way to prevent that or remove that is to rinse your cutting board after you cut it up, and then that will be gone. So, on to our next step. Our next step is adding the rice to the boiling water. So, as usual, just gonna throw that in there. And then, I never get utensils before I start these projects, because I'm silly. Hey, there we go. I'm gonna use a rubber spat this time. Stir it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna add a tab of butter to prevent it from sticking. Remember to turn your heat down to a medium, or to a medium low. You want it simmering, but not, you know, hot. Not super hot. Butter is added. Stir a little bit more. Get that butter in there, melting. And then, going to add the lid. And simmer. We'll check on that here in a little bit. Alright, our next step here is to season our corn. So we're just going to take our cans of corn. If they have liquid in them, you want to drain that off. They should be moist enough all on their own to adhere the spices we want to use. You're going to dump it into the bowl. And I'm going to just take simple Mexican chili powder. Give it a nice hearty sprinkle. And then I'm going to stir that up. Boom. Mexican style corn. Super simple. A little bit of flavor. That's all we're going for. There's going to be a lot of flavors in this. So, corn is mixed up with the spices. Next we're going to drain off the olives, drain off the tomatoes, drain off the pinto beans. And we're going to throw all of our ingredients into that bowl. Okay, so since we're doing a Mexican, well, Southwest style dish, I'm going to take some of that Mexican chili powder, now that most of the water is off, and I'm going to add that in to our rice and stir it in. I considered adding some diced tomatoes, but I didn't state that in the beginning of the video. I'm not going to start adding ingredients now, so just going to stir some of that in. I'm going to add a little bit more. And then re-lid it. Remember to keep checking on your rice, otherwise it will stick to the pan. Alright, so we have all of our ingredients in the mixing bowl, and we're gonna mix it. Whee! Oh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Black olives, and corn, and beans, and onions. And now we're gonna add spices. So as I said before, these are the things we're using. We're just going to sprinkle it all in there. Guess we'll start with the seasoning salt. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. And then cayenne. Sprinkle. And even though we have onions, onion powder. Garlic is necessary for all life to prevent vampires. And a little bit of paprika. Now, as you can see, this isn't... Oh, it's not even open. Okay, I'm back. I found my open jar of paprika. Yeah. Paprika. As you can see, that is now coated in seasonings. So we're going to stir it again. Now, a very important part of making any food is to taste it. So, before I get rid of this fork, I have loaded it up with the ingredients to determine if my flavor is correct. Yes, my flavor is correct. Our rice is done! Heat's off. So, now we're gonna take that rice, add it to that mix. So, that is mixed. Now we spray. Wah! I make messes when I cook. Pan sprayed. Add mix to pan. Then cheese to top. Oven is preheated. Okay, so I forgot some ingredients here because, well, I do that. But we're going to be adding sour cream, salsa, and cheese. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some sour cream and salsa and make a layer on top of this. And then we're going to do a layer of cheese on top of that. And then we're going to add those onions that we still have to the top of that. Be right back. Just for reference, I had about half of a container, a 6-ounce, 2-pound 6-ounce container of salsa, and we threw all of that in there. And we're going to take like 2 large dollops of salsa or sour cream. We're going to take 2 large dollops of sour cream and just mix it up. And then, because I'm fancy, or rather my roommates are, and they have fancy dishes, I'm going to drizzle this, like so, over the top of that. Basically, what that should do is all of that liquid from the salsa and the sour cream is going to seep down into the rest of that, and then we're still going to have like a moist layer on top. Now for cheese. Now we have our cheese layer, and I still have a little bit, see if I can drizzle it out, of the salsa and sour cream. So I'm just going to drizzle that over the top to add a little bit of color to the top. Drizzle. And then onion. Bam! Onions. Now we're going to take this and we're going to stuff it in the oven for 30 minutes on 350 degrees. We'll see what it looks like when we're done. Now that our food's in the oven, we can do something fun, like, I don't know, throw on slow jams and dance in your kitchen, not chicken. I am so bad with words today. Woo! Well, it's been 30 minutes. Let's see where we're at. Ooh. That looks pretty good, I'd say. Yep, gonna serve this up and eat it now.